If you'd please stand, Councilman Lucio is going to lead us in the flag salute.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. We're going to have a special performance this evening by the Chino Valley Community Chorus.
I'm just going to try to speak into this mic. Whoop, got to get close. All right, we are the Chino Valley Community Chorus, and I'm Rebecca Gordon, the director. We want to wish everybody a wonderful holiday season, and hopefully a couple songs will get you in the spirit. Our first one is going to be All is Merry and All is Bright by Jerry Estes. Our second number is what the kids might call a mashup. It is a combination of Clear Was the Night and It Came Upon the Midnight Clear.
Okay, we always have one more. There's always three.
Things are best in threes. All right, we are for our last number. We want to do. It's a song. We wish you a Merry Christmas. It's just called "We Wish You," and it is by a former Chino Hills citizen, Ruth Morris Gray. So we'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very happy holiday season.
Thank you all for being here. We're going to have a very quick recess while the choir moves out. Okay, tonight we honor the memory of Jerry Rowe, a longtime staple of our community and a member of the Chino Planning Commission who recently passed away. Jerry was born in Mitchell, South Dakota, but lived in California since he was 3 years old, growing up in West Covina and moving to Chino in 1992. From the moment he moved here, he became part of the fabric of our community, getting involved in local organizations and politics. He cared deeply about our city. He was also a regular at our city council meetings. In fact, he attended every council meeting, planning commission meeting, and the CSPR commission meetings for the past 9 years. He also went to the fire board meetings. He went to the school board meetings. I don't think there was anything Jerry missed. Jerry lived within the sphere of influence for the past 28 years. Last year, he joined the Planning Commission as the first ever representative of the north end of the sphere. Outside of public service, Jerry was a real estate broker for 40 years. He loved horses and cars, and when his wife, Vicki, asked him to choose, he chose horsepower. Jerry's survived by his wife of 55 years, Vicki, as well as his daughter, Jennifer, and son, Brandon. I'd like you to join me, please, in a moment in silence in remembrance of Jerry Rowe. Thank you very much. He's going to be missed. He was at every meeting and gave us advice whether we wanted to hear it or not. He always had ideas. Okay, our first ceremonial this evening is Boys Republic Della Robbia wreath presentation. I'd like to call up Jerry Hodge, Treatment Director for Boys Republic, and Student 1, Magana. Please join me.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you, Your Honor. It's so privileged for us to be here. As you know, Boys Republic has been around a little while, since 1907, and we have been celebrating the Della Robbia Wreath program for 102 years. In that time, we've sent out over 3 million wreaths, and we send currently to every state in the United States and about 20 foreign countries. And so Juan and I would like to present this wreath. We handpicked it off the line for you today. So, yeah, they are. Juan actually helps put these things together here too, so he's pretty sharp at this stuff here. But yeah, we've been sending a wreath every year since Calvin Coolidge was president. The kids think that I was there at the same time when he was elected, but that's not true.
Oh, gosh. Well, we personally are a family. We send 6 or 7 of these out every year. We have a granddaughter in Alaska with her husband and baby, and we send them one. So I really encourage you all to go to the Boys Republic website, and if you have people you need to give a gift to and you don't know what in the world to do, these are beautiful gifts. They absolutely are. They smell good, and they last for a long time. Thank you both for being here, and thank you for the wreath. Thank you. Have to get a picture.
There we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Juan. Why don't we just lean it right up against there for right now? Great. And they last several months. Okay, our next ceremonial, recognition of the 2025 Chino Sports Legends Youth Volunteer Award winner. Tonight, we're proud to recognize the 2025 Chino Sports Legend Youth Volunteer Award winner. This award honors adult volunteers from Chino-based youth sports organizations who have dedicated at least 5 years of service to our young athletes, whether as coaches, team parents, board members, officials, or administrators. Nominees are selected for their leadership, teaching abilities, sportsmanship, and their positive impact on youth athletes both on and off the field. This year's recipient embodies all of those qualities. The 2025 Chino Sports Legends Youth Volunteer is Courtney Garcia of the Chino American Little League. Courtney, would you please join us? Do you have family with you? Would you like to bring up any family members? Yeah, come on up. Courtney's been a cornerstone of Chino American Little League for over 12 years, dedicating her time, energy, and heart to the service of this community. Her commitment to the league has touched countless lives and helped shape the character of Chino American Little League. Courtney has served as president, secretary, treasurer, and mentor. Her institutional knowledge and leadership have been instrumental in maintaining continuity and excellence over the years. Courtney exemplifies the values of leadership, teaching, dedication, planning, sportsmanship, and positive coaching. Do you ever sleep?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's known for her calm demeanor, her ability to organize complex logistics, and her tireless efforts to support both volunteers and families. She's trained multiple presidents and board members, ensuring that each new generation of leadership is equipped with the tools and knowledge to succeed. In addition to her official roles, Courtney quietly sponsors a child every year to cover their registration fees, ensuring that financial hardship never stands in the way of a child's opportunity to play. This act of generosity reflects her deep compassion and belief in the power of youth sports to transform lives. Courtney Garcia is a legend within the Chino American Little League and role model within our community. Congratulations to Courtney Garcia, the 2025 Chino Sports Legend Youth Volunteer Award winner. And we have a plaque to present you, congratulating you for the award. Would you like to introduce your family and say a few words?
Oh. Yeah, this is my son, Joshua. I actually started volunteering for the league when he was about 4.5, and now he is almost 17 and actually out of the league now. But I continue to still volunteer because it's a passion of mine. And then my husband, Jason, he's been my backbone for years, and he volunteered for a long time. And then when this one went to high school, I said, hey, you're in charge of him. I'm still volunteering. So I appreciate it. I want to say thank you to the City Council and thank you, Mayor, for this opportunity. I'm usually the person that is behind the scenes at the league that keeps it all flowing and, gets everything going. But, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. And thank you for all your service to the kids.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
We got to get
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Try to get some sleep, Courtney.
Never.
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 Next, we have Business of the Month. Our first Business of the Month is a place anchored in the heart of downtown Chino. For the month of December 2025, I would like to congratulate Royalty Cakes as one of our Businesses of the Month. I'd like to call up Andrea Marino and the Royalty Cakes team. Please join me up front. This business is a family affair that's centered on a love for serving customers and the community. Royalty Cakes uses recipes passed down since 1931 through 5 generations to create delicious handcrafted cakes. They are proud to blend tradition, flavor, and creativity to make every cake personal, elegant, and memorable. With her family by her side, Andrea has made it part of their mission to support local community organizations by making donations to local churches. They have also donated cupcakes to the Chino Police Department, not donuts.
They're better.
Uh-oh. And school district as a gesture of their appreciation. Royalty Cakes believes in uplifting those around them by strengthening community bonds and sharing gratitude through their craft. Royalty Cakes chose Chino because they wanted to continue their family tradition of operating a bakery in a close-knit downtown community. Inspired by their predecessor, Jocelyn's Bakery in West Covina, they selected Chino as the ideal place to carry on their legacy, serving local families and growth with the community. Join me in congratulating one of our December 2025 Businesses of the Month, Royalty Cakes. Please accept this plaque.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm so grateful.
And would you like to say?
Yes. Well, we'd like to thank the mayor, of course, and the council members. And we just want to thank you for allowing us for the last almost 20 years to be a part of your community. I see all these beautiful faces out here, and it warms my heart that we've been able to sustain and thrive in this community. And Chino really is where everything grows. And thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Thank you very much.
So
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Our second Business of the Month has been training the next generation of elite gymnasts right here in Chino for just under 2 decades. For the month of December 2025, I would like to congratulate Sokol Elite Gymnastics as one of our Businesses of the Month. I'd like to call out Donald Sokol, father of business owner. Oh, okay. I'd like to call up Donald Sokol, father of business owner Wendy Sokol. Oh, you're here. It's one of those nights.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Sokol Elite Gymnastics has been in business for 17 years, and in that time has helped community members from toddlers to adults develop their strength, confidence, and lifelong skills, as well as supporting their passion for growing as athletes. The team at Sokol Elite Gymnastics knows how important it is to support their community. They have offered scholarships to loyal families when they fall on hard times. Their goal is to ensure every athlete has the opportunity to train, grow, and succeed regardless of their financial circumstances. Sokol Gymnastics also promotes fellow small businesses by showcasing advertisements throughout their gym. They're proud to help our community thrive and keep our city's economy strong. The Sokol family chose Chino for their place of business because city staff worked closely with them while they were renovating their building to meet the business's needs. Owner Wendy Sokol noted that city staff support made it possible for us to create a safe, functional space for our athletes and family. Please join me in congratulating one of our 2025 Businesses of the Month recipient, Sokol Elite Gymnastics. And I have a certificate of congratulations for you. Absolutely.
Thank you, Your Honor, and council members. She said it all about the gym. I have nothing to say except I'd like to say a few things about the community. The Sokols are extremely proud to be members of the Chino community. We live here, we work here, we play here, and we spend our money and volunteer here. So this is a wonderful city, and we want to thank you not only for the award, but also for making this a fabulous city. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Well, thank you very much. Let's give them another hand. Thank you very much. Let's get a picture.
Oh.
Thank you very much for being here. Tell Wendy hi.
I certainly will.
Thank you.
She's teaching all the kids today.
Oh, she's busy teaching tonight.
They all are. The kids go to school, and then after school, that's when they come to the gym. She doesn't get home. She and her husband don't get home till very late.
Oh, my goodness. Well, tell her congratulations. Thank you. Next, we have the Mayor's Home Beautification Award. I'm pleased to announce Sandra Holt as Treadwell Avenue as the winner of the Mayor's Home Beautification Award for December. Unfortunately, she's out of town and can't be here, so we will deliver her awards to her when she returns. So that's it. Okay, we did have a closed session prior to the council meeting. I'd like to ask our attorney to give us a report out of any action taken.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and all those present. The City Council met in closed session as announced by the Mayor on all items listed on the closed session portion of the agenda, and the report is as follows. On item number 1, conference with real property negotiator concerning the property at the northeast corner of Central and Francis Avenue, as identified on the agenda as APN 1014-28104, with the negotiating party being Dave Quo, and under negotiation were price and terms of potential acquisition. The City Council held a discussion with the mayor abstaining, not participating in the closed session room for the entirety of that discussion. The balance of the City Council provided direction and no further reportable action was taken. Item number 2, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, the matter of Mary Ingrid Culp versus City of Chino. City Council received an update, provided direction, no further reportable action was taken. Item number 3, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, the matter of GM, a minor by and through Tanya Baez versus City of Chino. City Council received an update and provided direction, and no further reportable action was taken. Finally, the council met on item 4, conference with labor negotiator concerning all of the employee organizations previously announced and listed on the agenda. City Council received an update and no further reportable action was taken. Additionally, Mayor, there is an item that came to the attention of staff after the posting of the agenda, and the suggestion is to add it to closed session following the open session. The process for that would be because there is some urgency in this real estate transaction, and it came to the attention of staff after posting of the agenda, it would require a motion, a second, and 2/3 approval. If the council is so inclined, the matter is described as follows: conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 concerning the property at 5500 West Francis Avenue in the city of Chino, with the property owner being Grand West Coast Investments LLC, and under negotiation will be price and terms of potential acquisition. With that, if the council were so inclined, it would be appropriate to consider a motion in a second.
Okay, do we have a motion and a second to add the item to closed session?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, there's a motion from Councilman Flores, second from Councilman Lucio. All those in favor state aye. Aye.
And Mayor, the suggestion is you would abstain
And I
from that
will
vote.
abstain, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, City Manager Wright, do we have any agenda additions or revisions?
No changes, Mayor.
Okay. Under public announcement, the Chino Cares Challenge. First, there's still time to take the Chino Cares Challenge. The Chino Cares Challenge is a community-wide effort that helps Chino families in need by collecting food as well as grocery and fast food gift cards. You can participate by dropping off grocery and fast food gift cards at the Carolyn Owens Community Center and the Hope Family Resource Center, while food can be dropped off at the Chino Neighborhood House and Food for Life Ministry. Donations will be accepted until December 15th. For more information about the Chino Cares Challenge, visit cityofchino.org/CCC. Next, we're days away from officially kicking off the Christmas season. Join us this Saturday, December 6th at 4 p.m. for our annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony, where we'll transform the Chino City lawn into a magical Santa's workshop featuring Christmas carolers, food vendors, a train ride, and an opportunity to meet jolly old St. Nick himself. Don't forget your cameras, because we'll be lighting our massive Christmas tree at 6 p.m. to ring in the holiday season. And of course, mark your calendars for our annual Chino Youth Christmas Parade and Fair on Saturday, December 13th. This longtime Chino tradition features local schools, bands, and community groups parading down Riverside Drive and Central Avenue to the Chino City Hall lawn, ending with a festive, family-friendly holiday carnival perfect for children of all ages. Finally, the fun continues with our winter pop-up events happening throughout December on the City Hall lawn. Bring the entire family to fun and festive evenings featuring great food and live performances with themes such as Nightmare Before Christmas, a Whoville Christmas, and more. Our winter pop-ups take place on December 15th, 19th, 22nd, and 26th. Don't miss out on the holiday fun. You can learn more about these events and more by visiting cityofchino.org/events. Now, also, I'd like to inform you about the upcoming holiday schedule. Please note that City Hall and most city facilities will observe a holiday closure or have limited hours starting December 24th, with normal operations resuming on January 2nd. Now, this evening we'll be adjourning in memory of Grace Stephanie Lopez. Finally, tonight we'll also remember Grace Stephanie Lopez, who passed away on November 13th. Grace lived her entire 98 years of life in our community and was a true Chino pioneer. Her grandfather was Raimundo Yorba, the builder of the Yorba Slaughter Adobe. She graduated from Chino High School in 1945 and was a homemaker all her life, devoting herself to being a wonderful mother to her children. She loved having coffee with friends and family and enjoyed cooking and caring for them all. She was married to her husband of 52 years, Reuben, who preceded her in death in 2003. She was a faithful and devout Catholic who loved God and prayed continually, and she never gave up on her family. Grace is survived by her younger sister, Frances, and her 6 children, Marie, Reuben, Patty, Robert, Ron, and Roberta, along with 18 grandchildren and 23 great-grandchildren. Tonight we will close in the memory of Grace Lopez and Jerry Rowe. Next on the agenda is public communication. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the council about items that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. If it is an item that's not elsewhere on the agenda, we can't take action, but we would be happy to hear your concerns. Our first written request to speak is Pastor Roy Robbins from Christ Lutheran Church. He's going to lead us in an invocation, so I invite all those who would like to join us to please stand.
Thank you, Council, for allowing me to be here this evening. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, and everyone here also. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening asking for your guidance and wisdom as this meeting begins. Often our lives can be a blur of activity, particularly during the Christmas season. This year, help us to slow down and to enjoy the beauty of your kingdom and the Advent season. Thank you for the leadership represented here in these chambers, but also for those behind the scenes who tend to the business of the city each and every day. Fill us with compassion, grace, and foresight as decisions are made that affect our city and the surrounding communities. May we always have a keen eye for the lonely, the forgotten, and the shamed, and may our compassion spur us into action. Remind us that all that is accomplished here this evening is for your glory and for the service of our community and beyond. Help us to await with eager expectation the birth of the Savior. May thy kingdom come and thy will be done here as in heaven. Lord, thank you for your grace which sustains us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next written request I have to speak is Sophia Cohen.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sophia Cohen. I'm field representative for Assemblymember Michelle Rodriguez, and I'm excited to announce that we'll be hosting a holiday open house and toy drive tomorrow from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at our district office. The address for that is 13160 7th Street, Chino, and I hope to see everyone there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Now, those are the only two written requests to speak I have. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on any item that is not on the agenda? Okay, we have a tradition here, and that is when we have students in the audience, we invite them up to introduce themselves, tell us the classes that they're taking, and maybe they're getting some credits or something, and the reason why they're here. So I understand we have a couple of students in the audience, so I'd like to invite you up. Come on. It's always fun to do that because you see them squirming.
I didn't really expect this. My name is Tyra Salazar, and I go to San Antonio College. And I'm taking political science right now as I'm going to my finals. And I really want to learn what it's like to be in city council, and I really like to learn what's going on around me, especially in my own community.
Great. Well, thank you. Do you live in town?
I live in Chino Hills. I want to go to the Chino Hills council meeting, but it was canceled. So I really just wanted to see, how things went.
Well, thank you for being here. You're going to find that our council is absolutely excellent. I'm just a bit biased. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Then I'm Maximus Salazar. I'm his brother. I'm just here to help him with notes, and I go to Chino Hills High School.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for being here.
No problem.
Anyone else? We have one more.
Hello, my name's Anna Osborne. I go to Mount Sac, and I'm currently going for my accounting degree, but right now I'm taking a class for Geography of California, so I had to join a meeting and take notes on everything and then write a paper, but thank you.
Thank you for picking us. And since you're on TV, you have proof that you're here. Okay, anyone else? All right, we will move on then. We have our consent calendar. Any council members wish to have anything pulled? Okay, no? Then I would entertain a motion in a second. I think we need a second. I don't know if it's working, Natalie. Okay, we'll do it verbally. Do we have a motion? Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton.
Mayor,
there it is.
thank you.
Okay, and second from Councilmember Lucio. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Under new business, item number 7, award of contracts, citywide HVAC preventative maintenance and repairs. This item is to award a public works contract with CE Mechanical Incorporated, Chino, California, for the citywide HVAC preventative maintenance and repairs. Our report this evening will be provided by our Assistant Parks and Facilities Manager, Andrea Bauer, and Sylvia Avalos, our Director of Community Services, Parks and Recreation.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the City Council. Tonight, I will provide an overview and recommendation to award a contract for citywide heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, also known as HVAC, preventative maintenance and repair services. The Community Services, Parks and Recreation, Parks and Facilities Division is responsible for the maintenance and repairs of all HVAC equipment at city facilities. With the exception of the police facility, no records have been found of previous HVAC preventative maintenance services. It is important to have scheduled preventative maintenance on HVAC equipment to properly clean, maintain, and monitor all systems per industry and manufacturer standards. The average commercial HVAC equipment lifespan is 15 to 25 years. Staff identified that out of 130 pieces of equipment that Chino has, 84% is older than 15 years and 19% is older than 25 years. The only service previously provided citywide was for repairs and replacements. So this presentation recommends awarding one contract for all citywide HVAC preventative maintenance and repair services. The city issued a request for proposal in July for citywide HVAC preventative maintenance and repairs. 6 proposals were received and a review committee was formed to evaluate all 6 proposals based on predetermined weighted criteria. CE Mechanical, Inc. received the highest score and is recommended for contract award for services rendered January 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2028. The total cost for services through June 2028 is $1,376,000. This includes preventative maintenance and an additional $900,000 over the course of the contract for repairs and replacements. Please note, the repairs and replacements contract not to exceed amount of $900,000 will only be used as repairs are needed and replacements are budgeted. Staff recommends the City Council award a contract to CE Mechanical, Inc. for citywide HVAC preventative maintenance and repair services in the amount of $476,000 for preventative maintenance and $900,000 for repairs and replacements for a total not to exceed amount of $1,376,000 for services January 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2028. Approve 2 additional 1-year options to renew. Appropriate $75,000 to the Building Management Fund and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city. This concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, any comments or questions from council members?
The only question I have is, I know we've had some issues with some of our lowest bidders. Did we do any type of background on them with previous cities that maybe they worked with? Did they come out okay, or is there any issues in the past from this company regarding contracts?
Sure, that's a good question. This is actually a maintenance contract, so we didn't have to award to the lowest bidder and went through an RFP process, and an evaluation committee was formed. So they were able to evaluate all the prospective bidders based on some predetermined criteria that we established.
Okay.
So does that mean there wasn't any issues?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Short answer. Any other questions or comments? Okay, then I would entertain a motion in a second, please. A motion from Councilperson Comstock.
Apologize, we can try again.
Okay, try again. Computer goofed up. Okay, It's not resetting. There it goes. And a second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item number 8, cooperative agreement with the California Department of Transportation, also called Caltrans, for the relinquishment of State Route 83 or Euclid Avenue. This is to authorize the city manager to execute a cooperative agreement with Caltrans for relinquishing State Route 83 to the city of Chino. Staff report this evening will be provided by our CIP engineering manager, Michelle Chapman, and our director of public works, Hyjin Lee.
Good evening, Mayor. I would love to preface this project. Our staff worked really hard with collaborating with Caltrans, and we're pleased to present the proposal that we've received from Caltrans.
Good evening, Council. On the map before you, we have it color coordinated for you to see exactly where State Route 83 is in relation to the 3 cities that have gone through, that State Route 83 goes through. Euclid Avenue was established as a state highway in 1934 and designated as California State Route 83 in 1964. Upland, shown in blue, relinquished State Route 83 in 2010, and Ontario relinquished their portion, which is in yellow, in 2024.
Don't you mean the state relinquished to those cities?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay.
So we're going to go through the benefits of relinquishment. The obvious is local control, improved emergency response, long-term planning control, control over roadway improvements, tailored traffic management, project prioritization, and increased opportunities for grants such as partnerships with SBCTA, federal grants, and state grants. With relinquishment, the city gains the ability to pursue state and federal grants, as well as to enhance safety with tailored traffic management, traffic signal interconnect and cameras, beautification projects, without relying solely on general fund dollars. This empowers Chino with greater local control, ensuring that improvements reflect community priorities and can be implemented more efficiently. Ultimately, the transition provides both fiscal flexibility and the autonomy needed to shape Euclid Avenue into a corridor that better serves residents, businesses, and visitors. The compensation comparison you can see here between Euclid, Ontario, and Chino as to what was offered by the state for relinquishment is broken down on a centerline miles basis, which centerline miles are the true from point A to point B, the center of the roadway. We also looked at the lane mile comparison. So the lane mile is considered if you have 2 lanes of travel in both directions, you've got 4 lanes in total. So over 1 mile, you have 4 miles. So looking at City of Upland, they had 3.2 centerline miles, which translated to 15.7 miles because they have a lot of 3 lanes in both directions, 6 lanes across. The amount per lane mile that they received was $186,000 roughly. For City of Ontario, they had 7.14 centerline miles. As you can see, we have an overlap between City of Ontario and Chino for 2.5 miles. What that equated to for them was 27.5 lane miles, which became $852,000, roughly amount per lane mile. The City of Chino was initially offered $15.8 million, $15.9 million for the 6.25 centerline miles. That equates to 17.2 lane miles. But beyond that, the city then began to continue to work with Caltrans, go higher to District 8 headquarters, and continue to negotiate further and got to an 18.8 state negotiated amount. What that translates to is a little over $1 million per lane mile. This is higher than our neighbors and significantly higher than our neighbor to the north. Having Euclid Avenue in perpetuity is a cost that we will then incur in perpetuity. Looking at it at a 10-year forecast of anticipated needs, we took a comparison as to the first 2 years, we will have some improvements that will be totaling around $4 million. Those improvements are both maintenance and operations, as well as some capital improvement projects that need to take place in order for us to be better able to manage Euclid Avenue. So those first 2 years, you're looking at $4 million, with years 3 through 10 closer to $14 million. So that takes that $18.8 million that we are being offered and takes it at least 10 years. Now, this is also looking at it without partnering those funds with federal grants, state grants, and partnering and leveraging those funds. This would take us maintenance and CIP costs out 10 years. Now, looking at those first 2 years, the costs that we're covering are related to traffic signal improvements like controller swap outs, pothole repairs, refreshing striping, replacing street name signage, replacing regulatory signage, debris removal, weed abatement, catch basin cleaning. Many of these items we take on currently, and we are not capturing in our own budget as far as when we get called out to make improvements out there, because Caltrans has not had a chance to get to them yet. So now we're looking at the long-range improvements, those following 8 years. What that would look like for us is the ongoing operations and maintenance, as well as the long-term CIP projects for enhancing the long-term maintenance. That's traffic signal interconnect, safety improvements. That's backup batteries for traffic signal cabinets, fiber optic connections for synchronization, landscaped parkways and medians for beautification, pavement improvements, including rehab and slurry, ADA improvements, and transit stop improvements. Omnitrans travels on this route, and there's transit stop improvements that can be made. This looks at it from a $14 million over those 8 years. In addition to that, we have on the agenda today, the United States Army Corps of Engineers has a portion in fee of Euclid Avenue shown in gray. Because this is owned in fee and not owned by Caltrans, it cannot be a transfer ship, a direct transfer. For us to obtain this, we need to have a license agreement for interim rights with U.S. Army Corps, and then permanent roadway easement rights. We are doing this outside of the relinquishment with Caltrans, and it's an additional item of $60,000 that we're discussing as one of the items on the agenda, or recommendation. So to take a step back, what have we completed to date in this process? In January of 2023, Council approved a resolution supporting and initiating state legislation for the relinquishment of SR 83. Then this went to legislation as far as Assembly Bill 250 passed in 2023, authorizing the CTC to relinquish a portion of SR 83. Following that, we had negotiations that was over the course of 2 years. Caltrans and city staff negotiated the terms of the transfer, including the financial compensation. This is where we went from 15.8 to 18.9. Our recommendation tonight is for the adoption of resolution number 2025-90 to accept a payment of $18.8 million for the transfer of ownership of State Route 83 to the city of Chino. Establish a revenue account for tracking these funds. Appropriate $60,000 to complete a transfer of easements on federal land. This was related to the Army Corps land that is not in fee owned by Caltrans. And item 4, authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents. With council's approval of that recommendation, the next steps would look like this. March 19th, 20th is the CTC approval date for when this would go before CTC. Following CTC adoption, April 17th could be recordation, and following that, the city would receive ownership and compensation. I'll allow you guys to have any questions. I'm here to answer.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the audience? Yes, sir. Stubby, if you would come up to the podium, please.
Good evening, Council. Is this thing on?
Yes. It sounds like it is.
Still can't get used to this bright sunlight. You notice I wore long sleeves because I got sunburned last time.
Oh, my gosh.
I just want to remind you, it wasn't in the report, that when we accept this from Caltrans, It is no different. We are accepting a program. We are adding to our program of streets. When you add a program, when you adopt a program, when you lease a building, when you do anything that adds to it, it must be compliant with the ADA. This is something I've brought up to the city in the past. This has been talked about for a long time. Caltrans is notorious for not complying with the ADA, just like I'm in discussions with them now on the Three Bridge project. Pushing accessibility and pedestrian requirements that the city itself has off for 8 years is not going to be legal or practical. So I just want you to be aware of that. Thank you.
It will be added to our long list of things that we have to accomplish. Thank you.
Long list.
Long list. Thank you, Stevie. Anyone else in the audience want to address the council? Okay, council questions or comments?
Yeah. I just wanted to say this is a long time coming. I think one of the major things that this is going to give us is going to give us the ability to require developers, now that we own Euclid, to make the improvements on Euclid. You know, we're going to have the ability to work with the county when they start improving the airport to do some improvements on the airport side. When we take over the Stark property, we'll be able to have the developers that start developing that property make the improvements. We've gone a long time, because we don't own it, and a lot of development's gone on there, that we've had no improvements to that street because we didn't own it. So I think that's one of the major milestones that we have finally accomplished. And now it's just a matter of requiring these developers, once they start developing on Euclid, to start putting in some money to make sure that the street is widened and that it doesn't bottleneck.
Okay. Chris, you have any comments?
Yeah, just a comment. Thank you for the presentation. Hygiene, just thank you to your team. This is just testimony to the great work you guys are doing over there. Thank you for the negotiations. That's obviously a good thing to bring back higher numbers than that was first offered. And I mean, again, just thank you for your hard work on this.
Kurt?
I'd also like to say thanks to our staff for getting that additional 18.5% on top of the original amount. I still think it's really sad. The state of California is getting a deal by only giving us that amount of money, whereas they should be giving us a lot more than that to take over that mess out there on Euclid Avenue. It is a mess, and we're going to have to go in and we're going to have to fix all that. And with 18 on almost $19 million, that's not going to be enough. And that's just from Riverside Drive to Pine. Once you get to Pine Avenue and you go from Pine down to Highway 71, and that dip in the bridge, that belongs to the feds, correct? So Army Corps, we're going to have to deal with them. I'm sure we're going to get into the trenches to try to get some grants to recover some of that money. But I think it's, Caltrans has really got a deal by only giving us $18 million. It's a sad state of affairs. As Councilmember Lucio had mentioned, I'm really hoping that the county will step up relatively quick and fix their side of Euclid in front of the airport. But I do appreciate the efforts of our staff in going out there and getting us that additional 18.5%. So thank you very much.
Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with all the comments that have been made here this evening, but I would add to this that this is one piece of the puzzle in a very complex transportation issues that we have on the south side of the city, starting with Euclid Avenue, Pine Avenue Connector, bridging Chino Creek, but we can't, we have to start somewhere. And Kurt, I agree with you that Caltrans had lost their motivation many years ago, knowing that this is in our community, right? And that Upland and Ontario advanced, relinquishing them, so they were just waiting us out, right? So now that we have it, we can appropriately plan for it and control it, and hopefully, like Councilmember Lucio talked about, get some development activity to help us pay for the appropriate repairs that have to be done there. And Hajan, and to you and your staff, just job well done on this. This is going to cost a lot of money moving forward, but it's also one of the biggest complaints of our residents. When we start talking about local transportation issues, as you know, Kurt, that's in your district. You know, people want to know what it is we're doing with Euclid Avenue, how we're going to improve it, and how we're going to now make it look appropriate and congruent, all the way from, Chino up to Upland. So I look forward to the work that our staff will do to make that happen in the future. And I am confident that we will secure funding and grants, now that we have local control of it moving forward to help us. So job well done to our staff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all the comments. I'm glad to hear that we're going to be tracking this funding separately. Good idea. But the funding won't come in until May 2026, correct? Is there a way that you can start asking for grants or applying for grants before May? Because I know the paperwork trail has to be very, very long.
Unfortunately, we don't have any solid engineering plans or documents to be able to cost out any improvements right now. So we have to wait until at least we have some scope of work and actually programmed project.
Okay. One of my concerns when we started discussing taking over Euclid Avenue years ago was a great deal of land is owned by the county on Euclid. There's the airport, there's Prado Park, there's the shooting range. And I have my doubts if the county is going to actually come forward with the funding necessary to really improve those portions. So I think we should put together a very rigorous program on lobbying our county supervisor to ensure that he understands that that's his responsibility, that as we move forward, he is responsible for improving the frontage on the county property.
Yes.
Karen?
That queuing, Mayor, you make a great point there. Northbound on Euclid to go to Pine, even with the widening, is long overdue. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, they have started improving the airport. There's very nice fencing around it now. They've improved the signage, some of the landscaping on the north side, but there's a lot more to be done. And I don't want our citizens burdened with having to take on the expense of another agency's responsibilities. So I would encourage us to be very, very vigorous with that. Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion and a second, please. Motion from Councilmember Comstock, second from Mayor Pro Tem Burton. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. The work has just begun. Item number 9, award a professional services agreement to Biggs Cardosa Associates of Environmental and Design Services for the Pine Avenue Connector Bridge Project, ST 261, and grant G 7261. This is to award a professional services agreement for the Pine Avenue Connector and Bridge Project. Our staff report, once again, will be provided by our Director of Public Services, Hai-Jin Lee, and our Senior Engineer, Michelle Henderson.
Good evening, Mayor. This is another item that it was monumental step in moving the project forward. About a year ago, we pivoted the project from a earthen fill dam bridge to a earthen embankment to a bridge structure. So that now that concept is moving forward, and today Council is going to consider awarding the contract to Biggs and Cardosa. A member of their management team is here to answer any questions, but I think this is a awesome progress that we made, and we also got a City of Chino Hills buy-in for the project, and they've been an integral part of this whole selection process. So we're happy to present you our project today.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the City Council. Tonight, I will be providing an overview and recommendation for award of a professional services agreement to Biggs Cardosa Associates for the environmental and design services for the Pine Avenue Connector Bridge Project. The Pine Avenue Connector Bridge Project is shown here will extend Pine Avenue from State Route 71 to Euclid Avenue. The yellow segment displays the widening of the existing road from 2 to 4 lanes between Euclid Avenue to El Prado Road. The red segment displays the anticipated alignment of a new 4-lane elevated arterial roadway from El Prado Road to State Route 71. The dashed purple circle designates the State Route 71 Pine Avenue Interchange and Overpass Improvement Project, which will be a separately administered project with Caltrans and not part of this project due to separate funding sources. The Pine Avenue Connector Bridge Project lies within jurisdictions of Chino, City of Chino Hills, Caltrans, and the United States Army Corps of Engineers. The extension of Pine Avenue to State Route 71 has been a long-standing component of the city's general plan due to its regional significance for mobility and connectivity. Here's some of the project history. For over a decade, the project has remained in the preliminary engineering and design phase due to several challenges, which will be further discussed on the following slide. The city has worked with the Army Corps, County of San Bernardino, Caltrans, and City of Chino Hills, as well as utility companies during plan development. No official approvals were obtained from any of the reviewing agencies. The final environmental document was circulated for public comment in 2023. Upon Caltrans' final review of the environmental documents, it was noted that the air quality analysis was relying upon an outdated traffic impact analysis. The stagnate of the project progress triggered staff to reevaluate the project approach, and in October 2024, Public Works staff brought an update to the city's Street and Infrastructure Committee to recommend a pivot of the project approach. As I mentioned, several constraints exist on the project which have presented significant challenges. As the existing and future roadway lies within the Prado Basin impoundment area, the U.S. Army Corps has authority to regulate any earth movement. There is a large elevation difference, nearly 50 feet from the deck of State Route 71 to El Prado Road. And this difference either requires a large amount of earthquake movement or a bridge and dictates the curvature and design speed of the roadway. Army Corps has raised concerns in the preliminary design during the amount of soil import required to elevate the proposed road and the environmental impacts associated with creating a dam-like structure in the flood-prone inundation area. Several large Edison facilities exist within the alignment, which requires close coordination for relocation. The project is also within an environmentally sensitive area with several species that trigger off-site mitigation if disturbed. Multi-jurisdictional approvals, including Caltrans, Army Corps, California Department of Fish and Wildlife, the Regional Water Board, the County of San Bernardino, and City of Chino Hills require close coordination and collaboration to achieve project success. So on October 8, 2024, staff presented to the City of Chino Street and Infrastructure Committee a pivot to the design and environmental approach for the Pine Avenue Connector project. Staff proposed a shift to the environmental documentation from a mitigated negative declaration to an environmental impact report. The EIR will provide greater opportunity for public and agency comment and provide more comprehensive details pertaining to project impacts and mitigation. Though the EIR has a longer time frame and cost, ultimately it will provide assurances and legal protection to the city in the event of challenges and further engage the project stakeholders in the process. Staff additionally presented shifting the design of Pine Avenue from an embankment to a bridge structure. The committee expressed their support of the pivot. To move forward with the project and in accordance with federal funding guidelines, a new RFP was necessary to procure updated design and environmental services for the revised scope. Prior to the release, city staff collaborated extensively with the City of Chino Hills, the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority, and Caltrans to develop a bridge concept that aligns with regional planning efforts and minimize environmental impacts to address those challenges previously noted. On June 19, 2025, the city released a request for proposals for the environmental and design services for the Pine Avenue Connector project via Planet Bids, and the city received 2 proposals. A review committee consisting of city staff and staff from City of Chino Hills and SBCTA evaluated and scored the proposals. A second round of evaluation consisting of in-person interviews was also conducted. Biggs Cardoso Associates received the highest average cumulative score and is recommended for a contract award in the negotiated amount of $6,964,986.99. This action would require an appropriation in the same amount as shown in this table. The project would be supported by the Bridges, Streets, and Thoroughfares Development Impact Fee Fund, the Measure I Arterial Fund, and Safety Lou federal funds. This slide shows the anticipated schedule for completion of the Pine Avenue project design and environmental phases, as well as the separate Pine Avenue State Route 71 interchange project. Though the design and environmental phases are separate, their schedules may align for the construction phase. The commencement of construction is dependent upon securing of funds. City staff therefore recommends that City Council award a professional services agreement to Biggs Cardoso Associates for the environmental and design services in the amount of $6,964,986.99 for project ST-261, appropriate $2,086,590.28 from the Citywide Development Impact Fee Fund 220, establish a new grant project, G7261, and appropriate $3,505,806.71 to the Transportation Fund 320 for utilizing Safety Loop grant funds, and appropriate $1,372,590 to the Measure I Arterial Fund 328 for a total appropriated amount of $964,986.99. To assure project success, city staff will further be committed to engage project stakeholders in decision-making, project progress, and securing of construction funds. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council? Stubby?
Good evening again. So this is a Chino headquarters project. It's important to our general transportation plan, but one of the things that was brought up years ago was how are the hard costs when we get to construction going to be borne by the city of Chino Hills? About 65% of the physical construction is in the city of Chino Hills, and it is by far the more expensive portion. So I'm wondering if that has been addressed yet to this point.
I will ask staff to cover Chino Hills' portion of this.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to ask staff to review what Chino Hills has committed.
I think it's time now that we look at that.
Oh,
really,
we have been.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? Okay, council comments. Kurt or Karen?
So this has been the subject of many infrastructure and streets committee meetings, actually a lot. It's regretfully, we had to come to terms with the fact that our original plan, for whatever reason, for a multitude of reasons, was flawed. And despite our best efforts at our first attempt to go with that plan, I have actually looked at this project, now so many times I almost feel like I'm a part of Michelle's team on the project. I do see now why it was in our best interest to abandon the original plan and now consider a different plan for a multitude of reasons. Not only support from our neighboring communities, but also regionally with the improved design, as well as greater cooperation from our biggest opponent down here in getting this done, which is the Army Corps, who is much more receptive now to us pivoting on this and coming up with a new design to construct the bridge. Again, this is, as the mayor said earlier, let the work begin. my hope is that in about 5 to 10 years, once we get these designs and commence these projects and construct them, that you won't recognize these areas from a transportation corridor perspective. That is the goal here. It has to happen. We don't have any choice. This is a major arterial transportation that has to occur for this region. And with this design review, I do also believe we'll get better support from the county and other partners in doing this in grants. So thank you to staff. And I do support the pivot, and actually this was discussed with Councilmember Lucio and I at our last Infrastructure and Streets Committee. So keep up the good work, staff.
Kurt?
So I'm not on the infrastructure committee, so I don't know exactly what the discussions were and the benefits are to scrapping the original embankment style plan to the structure. Can you explain that and what it's going to benefit us, Hajan?
Yes, I would be happy to do that. The previous design, as you know, we have about 50 feet elevation drop from the 71 and Pine interchange to the El Prado Road. And in order for the earthen embankment to work, they needed to import 350,000 cubic yards of dirt. That's equivalent to about 35,000 vehicle truck trips. And that in itself had its own environmental impact. And Army Corps would not be agreeable to having an earthen embankment, since that whole area is considered is an inundation area. So Army Corps supports our pivot approach. So does Caltrans, and so does our partner at Chino Hills. And the whole EIR process will also ensure that we cover every concern that the community might have, and we have a much more engagement from the community and stakeholders.
I think that's also a nice way, Kurt, of saying that basically if we didn't change our design plan, we were not ever going to get it approved by Army Corps. Ever.
I appreciate that. It makes sense to me why the earthen plan would be scrapped because of the floodplain. But to Stubby's point earlier, you know, the connector is actually in the city of Chino Hills, and I also have the question, what kind of cooperation are we getting at this point by the city of Chino Hills, and how are we partnershiping with them? How is that updated?
Yes, in October, city staff, myself and Albert, attended City of Chino Hills Council meeting and presented the project and our intent to move forward with this new design. And City of Chino Hills staff and council have provided unanimous support for it. And also, this approach will help us get their partnership. So even selecting Biggs and Cardoza, SBCTA, City of Chino Hills, and Caltrans was part of the selection committee to make sure that the consultant is highly qualified to execute this magnitude of a project. So definitely we have a lot more support from City of Chino Hills. And another concern that they had was design speed versus a posted speed. So we are going to be addressing all of their safety concerns, including extending the traffic impact analysis all the way to Carbon Canyon Road.
And then I understand that you say they're supportive now.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean they're also supportive monetarily to where they would accept 65% of that, or is that going to come back on us?
That is to be discussed. What we're hoping for is a majority will be, we will be applying for some federal grants that will cover hopefully 80% of the cost, and maybe the remaining 20% we could split the cost. So that's our hope.
I think that Chino Hills may believe that it doesn't benefit them to connect, but it certainly does for a multitude of reasons.
Correct.
And I would hope that they are taking a very, very deep look at what's going on at this point. So thank you very much. I have no further questions.
And one more comment regarding City of Chino Hills interest in the project is about 6 months ago, there was a wildfire on the 71 hills along the 71 freeway. And if there was a wildfire in the Chino Hills State Park, this will be an excellent fire evacuation route. And I think that have really piqued their interest for the safety of their community.
Thank you for that.
And Mayor Pro Tem, I'd just like to add one more thing. So when we first started on this project and we started talking to our elected officials about federal dollars, the question always was, is Chino Hills on board? And at that time, we weren't getting consensus that they were on board. So now that they are on board, those federal dollars, state dollars, it's going to be easier for us to get. So getting that consensus from the council in Chino Hills to give them authority to support the project is really going to help us in that respect.
Thank you very much.
I think, though, now they're verbally supporting it. We'll sign letters and that sort of stuff, but it's my understanding that they also have considered pulling any potential funding that they had for this back and put on other projects. So I would encourage our council and our staff to remind them that the majority of this is in their community and will help them, and that we need more than just their verbal and written support. They need to put up some money and help us as well. Okay, with that, we need a motion and a second. We need a motion and a second. It's not, oh, there it goes. Motion from Councilmember Comstock, second from Councilmember Lucio. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Next item, item number 10, amendments to the construction reimbursement agreement from the Ontario Ranch Business Park project, referred to as the RETA project. The Merrill Avenue widening, the interconnect, the Euclid Avenue media improvement projects R2501. This is to approve an amendment to the construction reimbursement agreement for Merrill Avenue widening, interconnect, and Euclid median improvements. Staff report this evening will be provided by Sylvia Ramos, our contracts and DIF administrator, and Jesus Plasencia, our assistant city engineer.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. RETA, the developer of the industrial buildings located in the city of Ontario, east of Euclid, between Eucalyptus and Merrill, was required by Ontario to design and construct public improvements around the perimeter of the project. These improvements included work along both Euclid and Merrill Avenue. A major component of the work is the new 65-foot wide landscape median constructed along Euclid Avenue. The design of the median is consistent with the City of Chino's general plan, as well as the City of Ontario's specific plan for the Ontario Ranch Business Park. Because the center line of Euclid Avenue serves as the jurisdictional boundary between Chino and Ontario, approximately half of the new median lies within Chino's city limits. The project also includes full street improvements along Merrill Avenue on both north and south sides of the street, from Euclid to just west of Grove Avenue. The improvements on the south side of Merrill fall within Chino's jurisdiction. Given the shared jurisdiction along these streets, the City of Chino participated in the review and approval of the construction plans for the portions of Euclid and Merrill located within Chino. Chino also committed to funding its proportionate share of the improvements located within its boundaries. Construction of the public improvements is now substantially complete. 2 lanes are open in all directions along both Euclid and Merrill, significantly improving traffic flow in the area. Remaining tasks include minor improvements behind the Merrill Avenue street curb and punch list items that would only require brief localized lane closures to complete. The city is still working through the process of having Caltrans transfer the Euclid right-of-way to the city, as you know. This means that the portion of the median located within City of Chino currently falls under Caltrans jurisdiction. Therefore, the City of Chino had to enter into a maintenance agreement with Caltrans to cover the median landscaping, and this agreement was approved by Council earlier on November 4th of this year. However, it should be noted that the Council had previously approved a maintenance agreement between Chino and Ontario, in which Ontario agrees to maintain the entire median, with Chino reimbursing Ontario for its proportionate share. During construction of the public improvements, several unanticipated conditions and scope changes occurred, resulting in contractor change orders and increased costs. These additional costs will need to be reimbursed to the developer by the City of Chino. I'd like to briefly summarize the key items contributing to this additional work. Also want to mention that this was brought up to the Streets and Infrastructure Committee last month. The first is a utility conflict on Bonneview north of Merrill. As part of their conditions of approval, the developer was required to install large master plan storm drain facilities in Ontario along Bonneview and Merrill. This new storm drain had to be constructed across Chino's existing 24-inch water main, which runs north-south along Bonneview. This utility crossing was located at the north end of the Bonneview-Merrill intersection. During excavation, the contractor discovered that Chino's water main was not built exactly as shown on the plans. When it was exposed, it became apparent that the concrete supports for the pipe are much larger than specified on the plans, creating a conflict with the storm drain alignment. In addition, the pipe was not restrained as shown in the plans, making the water main unstable during excavation. Because of these unexpected conditions, the contractor could not safely support the water main in place while installing the storm drain. To prevent leaks and pipe movement, a section of the main had to be removed and replaced. This new section was reconstructed and fully restrained to meet current standards. So on this slide, the image on the left is showing the city's water line in blue, with the portion that had to be replaced shown in red. The second item is an unforeseen concrete layer on Euclid Avenue. A previously unidentified layer of concrete was encountered along Euclid, conflicting with the planned construction of the landscape median. This concrete had to be removed, resulting in additional costs. However, in some areas where future pavement was planned, portions of the concrete were left in place to reduce costs and enhance structural support for the new roadway pavement. So the photo on the right shows construction equipment removing the concrete. Next is an expanded paving scope of the southbound lane along Euclid. The original scope included rehabilitation of only the southbound number 1 lane, consistent with the developer's conditions of approval. However, to ensure a uniform and aesthetically consistent appearance on the Chino side of Euclid, and because crews were already mobilized, it was determined to be cost-effective to grind and overlay the southbound number 2 lane as well. So the photo on this slide shows the roadway pavement looking north after the contractor completed the grind and overlay of the southbound number 2 lane, which you can see is slightly darker in color. And then last is intersection concrete enhancements. At the city's staff's request, additional concrete paving was installed at the intersection of Euclid and Merrill and Euclid and Eucalyptus. Since Euclid serves as a designated truck route, city staff determined that it made sense to extend concrete paving through the intersections, including the portions within Chino, to create consistency with Ontario's improvements and to improve long-term durability of the roadway pavement, since both Euclid and Merrill are truck routes and we'll see a lot of truck traffic. I'll now turn it over to Sylvia, who will complete the remainder of the presentation.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. In July of 2024, the city entered into a development impact fee credit and reimbursement agreement with RETA for Merrill and Euclid Avenue improvements for a not to exceed amount of $5.7 million. May I direct your attention to the slide? The project is supported by 4 different funding sources. The Merrill improvements are offset by a developer deposit from Skinnell, which was the FedEx project, and the Preserve Circulation Development Impact Fee Program. The Euclid Avenue median was offset through citywide development impact fees and also in lieu fees collected in the general city for projects. City staff and the developer have worked collaboratively throughout the construction, reviewing change orders, evaluating costs, and monitoring overall expenditures through the course of construction. The total estimated costs are now projected to be $17.6 million, resulting in a $1.9 million shortfall. To fully fund the project, a budget amendment is required to reallocate and update project funding sources. This includes an increase of $2.3 million to the citywide development impact fee program and a reduction of approximately $338,775 to the preserve diff program, resulting in the net budget increase of $1.9 million. Next slide. I've provided a detailed cost summary for your reference, as the information was too extensive to include on the slide. As noted in the spreadsheet, the project experienced significant cost increases due to, as Jesus mentioned, the storm drain work on Bonneview, removal of temporary widening, installation of additional concrete pavement on Merrill and Euclid, and the additive items within the Merrill scope as previously discussed. These increases were partially offset by savings in other line items, including the traffic signal interconnect, unused contingencies, and the city's foresight in adding additional allowances to the budget when the agreement was originally approved, recognizing the potential for unknown and unforeseen costs given the magnitude of the project. In summary, as stated, the project budget will require an adjustment to incorporate additional citywide diff to complete the project and bring it to completion. Therefore, it is staff's recommendation to approve the proposed budget amendment to reallocate and update the project funding sources for Project R2501, Merrill Avenue widening, interconnect, and Euclid Avenue improvements. This action includes an appropriation of $2.3 million from the citywide development impact fees and a reduction to the preserved development impact fees in the amount of $338,775. And then also we need to amend the current agreement to increase the project budget by $1.9 million, establishing a revised project budget to $17.6 million. This concludes my report, or our report. We'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Sylvia. Would anyone in the audience like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, council comments? Kurt or Karen?
Again, having spoken to staff about this project and seeing it unfold, I just have a very simple comment tonight. It looks great and job well done.
Kurt?
So we don't own Euclid Avenue yet.
That's correct.
And we are responsible as a city still to pay for the improvements on the west side where Ontario did all the work, and we're going to be part of having to pony up for that money as well. Is that correct?
Once the improvements are accepted by the respective councils, which hasn't happened yet.
So during the course of the original negotiations, when Ontario went in and started to plan all of this, did they originally plan this with the state of California in reference to Euclid Avenue to be able to get that money reimbursed or get their share from the state? Because we still don't own Euclid yet. Or is the state going to reimburse us the money? How does that work?
If I understand the question, I don't know if the timing of when Ontario acquired Euclid fell in line with when these improvements were constructed. I don't know if they were.
I guess what I'm asking, and forgive my ignorance here, we don't even own Euclid yet I understand the long-term maintenance agreement that's going to happen, but we're going to have to be responsible for paying for the west side improvements south of, Eucalyptus?
Correct.
On our side.
Correct.
But it's not even our side yet, is that correct?
That's correct.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I think what happened was when they were starting to design that, we as a council decided since they're going to do the improvements now, it would be a lot cheaper for us to join in with them. So to get those improvements done, and then since we were taking over Euclid Avenue, this was not going to be another additional expense that was going to cost us more money if we were going to develop it on our own later. So we decided to do this early. Even though we didn't own it, we decided that would be the best thing to do at this point, since we had a contractor out there doing the work, and it would just make more sense to make sure, because otherwise Caltrans wouldn't have improved it. We would have just had a really jacked up 2-lane road on our side and they would have had all the improvements on their side, and we didn't want to do that. So we gave them directions to make the improvements, although we didn't own it, because we knew we were eventually going to take it over.
And
Go ahead, Karen.
I do believe that's what happened. Because Ontario had Euclid Avenue relinquished to them prior to doing this construction, so they were able to take advantage on their side of developer improvements. We had all that equipment out there, all the material and the ability to do those, that additional work there while it was there. So we told our staff, hey, we've asked them to do that before. Hey, if you're in a project and you see, that we have materials and labor mobilized, let's not just say, hey, it's going to have to stop here. Let's join in with their project and get all the improvements done concurrently, hopefully for a better price than us having to come back at a later time.
And I would agree with that, so long as we own it. But, here's a situation right now where, the state, we don't even have Euclid Avenue yet. I understand it, okay? But once again, the state of California has taken advantage of the city of Chino, and we're going to have to pay for it. They made a heck of a deal, and we're only getting $18 million from the state to be able to do roadway improvements out there.
But I guess another way of looking at this is that Caltrans wasn't going to come do that work for us, ever. So they weren't going to do it, and we were going to relinquish Euclid Avenue to ourselves and have to do it anyway. And we had the materials and the labor and the ability to do it. So
I
6 of
agree
one,
with you.
half dozen of the other.
I understand what you're saying, once again. However, the state of California has screwed the city again.
Council, we also did collect some in lieu fees and DIF funds to be able to put into the improvement. And if we go back to the slide of summary of the funding sources, there's no general fund allocated to this. There we go. Yeah, so these are all multiple sources of funding that was collected specifically for these improvements.
I agree with you, Kurt. I think the state, obviously, for us to sit here and act like they're going to come down here and do it, they could have done it for many years. But I think in the end, they're not going to do it. They've demonstrated that they will barely even come out and fill a pothole. They won't clean any of the storm drain area. I think in the end, our residents are happy to see their roads get improved and paved and constructed the right way. We all know that, all that work on Merrill serves as a transportation corridor for us as well on the west side. So I think what our residents are going to be happy is to have those improvements down there. If you haven't driven through them, they're actually working quite well and look quite nice. So
Our residents will be happy with it. It looks wonderful. But again, on the backs of our taxpayers taking care of it when it should have been the state of California. So thank you.
Any other council comments? Well, I think the discussion on this item brings out one weakness that we have in our council committees, and that is we have some committees that are involved in decision-making and help, but it's not daylighted to the entire council. So I would suggest, moving forward, that when we have committees like the Infrastructure Committee that is involved in important issues, that the council, through our red report or whatever, be advised as to what's going on, so that when an item like this comes to us, we're already familiar with what's going forward instead of only 2 council members knowing.
Did we not bring this project in front of the whole council? Because I believe we did bring it in front of the whole council. And we
Yes.
all decided to go in this direction.
Right, with the agreement, yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this wasn't just something that was done in committee. This was done in front of the council.
But it needs to be more daylighted.
I mean,
So
we
that
had a
we're
whole
reminded.
presentation on it.
Anyway, just something to keep in mind. Okay, with that, we need a motion and a second, please. I had already asked for comments, Stubby, but if you would like to add a quick comment. I don't have to reopen it. You can come forward. Come up.
Curtis, you're right 100%. I just want you to know that. Caltrans has been deferring maintenance on Euclid in anticipation of dumping it off on the cities, which is their legal term, for a long time. What this boils down to is the $18 million that they're giving us for the reconveyance, or the conveyance actually, is really only 15 million because we're spending the other money for the improvements that Ontario did. Yes, we're using DIF fees, but if we hadn't had to do that, those DIF fees could be used for other improvements. So, thank you, Caltrans, once again. But I think that's really important to get that on the record, that you just can't win when it's the state.
It's true. All the way around.
All the way through. So, and I think we're going to find that there's other deficiencies that get uncovered just because of the lack of maintenance that's been done by District 8. So,
Sure. Okay, there was a motion in a second. Can you put that back up? Did it disappear? Oh, there it is. Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Flores, second from Councilmember Comstock. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Next, we will move on to item number 11, construction contract, CJ Concrete Construction. Yeah, we're on 11. Incorporated for CDBG alley improvements for the FY 23-24 project SN 240. Our staff report this evening will be provided by our Associate Engineer, Eduardo Diaz, and our Director of Public Works, Hygiene Lee.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor.
You have to turn on your microphone.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Tonight, I will provide a project overview, a background of how we arrived here today, funding sources, and next steps for construction. The CDBG Alley Improvements Project involves the pavement improvements to the east-west alley south of D Street from Monte Vista Avenue to Fifth Street. It also includes a concrete ribbon gutter to help with drainage and ADA improvement to 8 alley entrances. This property is strictly pavement rehabilitation of the alley with minor improvements to 1 existing sewer manhole and 1 water valve. No major utility facilities are involved. Project SN 240 is a result of the Community Development Block Grant Program, which supports community development activities to build stronger and more resilient communities. On May 2nd, 2023, City Council approved the establishment of Alley Improvements Project SN 240 and the use of CDBG funding in the amount of $219,256 through the fiscal year 2023-24 one-year action plan. In May 2024, CIP staff selected HR Green as the design firm to complete Project SN 240. The original project limits were between 3rd Street and 5th Street, highlighted in blue. On April 1st, 2025, City Council approved an amendment to transfer $298,868.65 CDBG funds from the Community Garden Pumpkin Patch Project to the CDBG Alley Improvement Project SN 240. These additional funds allowed for an update to the project scope to expand pavement rehab limits east towards Monte Vista Avenue, highlighted in red. On October 21st, 2025, City Council approved a substantial amendment to the city's annual CDBG action plan and approved a budget transfer of $31,500 from the Economic Development Facade Improvements Project to the CDBG Alley Improvement Project SN 240 for a new total project allocation of $549,624.65. Regarding the sources of funding, Project SN 240 funds are covered by 2 pools. The Transportation Fund, which will require an appropriation of $18,521.95, and the Community Development Block Grant. Inspections and construction management will be handled by Public Works staff. The total cost of construction is $469,134.50. The Public Works team finalized the plans and specifications for advertisement in September of this year. 18 bids were submitted, which is significantly higher than in past years. Several of these bids were below engineer's cost estimate. We're noticing we are receiving more competitive prices and ultimately better cost savings to projects in Public Works CIP projects. CJ Concrete Construction from Santa Fe Springs, California ultimately had the lowest responsible bid. The alley improvements in this project will significantly benefit the community by providing accessible entrances and proper drainage. The work itself will take 30 working days to complete. pending no weather delays. We anticipate construction to begin late January 2026 and completion by end of March 2026. Staff has already started conversations with residents in the affected areas, 2 of which rely on motorized wheelchairs. Staff recommends the council award the CDBG Alley Improvements Project SN 240 to CJ Concrete Construction for a total not to exceed $407,955, along with all necessary appropriations of funds. This concludes the presentation, and if there are any questions, I am available to provide answers. Thank you.
Okay, are there any members of the audience that would like to address this item? Seeing none, council comments? Nothing? Okay, I would entertain a motion in a second then.
It's on strike again, Mayor.
I know, stupid thing. Motion from Councilmember Flores, second from Councilmember Comstock. Please vote. And it passes unanimously. Item number 12, new commune, DTLA LLC versus City, versus City of Redondo Beach appeal. This is to authorize to participate as an amicus. I can't pronounce your things. Amicus?
Courier.
All right. In the new. Anyway, staff report by Fred Galante, our city attorney. I don't know why you can't use just English words. Gosh.
Your city manager complains of that. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and all those present. As I've reported before, this case was handed down on October 10th, 2025, so a very recent case. It held 2 important components of its in the ruling. Number one, what essentially happened is this challenger, the petitioner, new DTLA commune, challenged the Redondo Beach's housing element. What it argued was that the city improperly used overlay zones to satisfy its regional housing needs allocation. As you recall, the state mandated all the cities plan for the accommodation of their specific number of allocated housing units. Redondo Beach did that, used overlays to designate areas within the city where those housing units would be permissible. The court found 2 problems with the housing element in Redondo Beach. Number one, it explained that the overlays were fine, they were appropriately described, and they have all of the right features. However, the fact that the underlying zoning authorizes a property owner to essentially ignore the housing mandates of the overlay, which would be 20 units per acre, meant that the city wasn't, in essence, really providing those, delivering those housing opportunities because property owner could opt not to. So they found that that did not comply with the housing element law. The second conclusion the court made was that when a city goes through an inventory of all the available sites, it has to find both vacant and, if not vacant, non-vacant sites that are likely to be developed for housing and for housing within the density required under the housing element law, the 20 units per acre. The court found that Redondo Beach did it right as to one property that was likely, based on the evidence submitted, was likely to be developed as a site for higher density housing, but as to another site, there had been a long-term lease on it, and it was really unlikely that it would ever convert to housing of that density. So for those reasons, the court found that the housing element didn't meet the requirements. Well, as I had explained, the city of Chino used overlay zoning, as did over 250 jurisdictions in the state of California. We relied on published guidance from HCD, the Housing and Community Development Department, that authorized that opportunity. We also relied on HCD actually reviewing and certifying our housing element with those overlays, and as this council well remembers, that was not an easy or smooth process. HCD was very meticulous about it. So this is very much, this decision is very much a hit to HCD, I would say, because it basically discredits their ability, their authority in approving all of these housing elements. So the next step is there is an appeal that's being filed by Redondo Beach, and the California League of Cities is going to file what's called an amicus curiae brief that is otherwise known as friend of the court. So when one side wants to advocate for the court agreeing with one side of the lawsuit, you can file this friend of the court brief, provide some authority and reasoning as to why your interests could be harmed by a decision that does not go the way you're advocating. The request before you today is to seek consideration to join that amicus curiae brief. To that end, the California League of Cities has decided to take the lead in authoring the brief. We have 3 cities that we represent alone, the cities of Carson, Glendora, and Rancho Palos Verdes, who have also committed to join, and essentially joining by name. There's not any significant cost. It will be, any review of that brief will be split amongst our clients. I think the last thing I should point out is it's not advised that the city do anything at this time with the housing element and take any action. The decision by the court is the second division of the Court of Appeal. It covers Los Angeles all the way to San Luis Obispo County, all of the coastal counties. It does not include San Bernardino. That's not to say it's not an important decision, but the most important thing is that it was a challenge to that particular housing element. So with that, the request is to consider adding Chino's name to that amicus curiae brief.
How many cities have joined so far?
So what we know is our clients, the 3 cities that have joined. If Chino joined, it would be a 4th. I believe 2 of our clients may be speaking to their council members tonight. 2 of my partners may be speaking with their respective council members. So
But you don't know about the other 250 cities? How many have joined?
I suspect it will be a fairly large number because of the impacts to all of those jurisdictions.
Is there a deadline on when you need to make a decision on this?
It was actually yesterday, but we contacted the league and they said providing them a response by tomorrow morning is fine.
Interesting. Comments, questions? Karen, you want to say anything about the league? Are you familiar with what they're doing?
I don't want to say anything about the league because I haven't been to a meeting. We're convening the board on Friday, so I'm sure we'll get an update on Friday about this out in Rancho Mirage. But I guess just to quote my partner here, Kurt, just another way we're getting it in the shorts by the local government. So. But I did in my discussion with the city manager. This is so important to so many cities. I did think it was prudent for us to add our name to the list of all these cities who's done what HCD has asked us to do. We, in our case, because of our growth measure, we went out for one of the ways we could meet our RENA requirement and our element was to do the overlay. We did what they recommended to us, right? And even went out to a vote. So something's got to give, right? We need some clear direction on this. So, but those are my comments.
What is this going to cost us, Fred?
As I mentioned, we're not authoring the brief. We're just reviewing it and potentially providing comments. We're sharing it amongst, if Chino joins, it's 4 cities, I can't imagine it'd be more than a couple $1,000s.
I think that the beauty in that is we do have some good lobbyists at the league with Jason Ryan and some of those people who work on the land element. So by us joining, it wouldn't be as expensive like for the city attorney to represent us. We would join in as a partner for probably a nominal cost.
Yep. I will add that HCD to this date has yet to issue any statement or guidance in response to this decision, which came out.
They've been
more
very
than-
quiet on this, huh?
Yeah.
Of course they are. All right, then if the council wishes to join this, I would need a motion and a second. Have a motion from Councilmember Flores, second from Councilmember Comstock. Please vote. Item passes unanimously.
And I will communicate to the council when I hear back from the league as to how many cities agreed to join. Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is mayor and council reports. I'll make mine very quickly. Thursday, November 20th, Assistant City Manager Jackie Melendez attended the West End Mayor's Roundtable. And then later that afternoon, Councilmember Comstock and I attended the Legislative Committee meeting. Sunday, November 23rd, I attended the Gobbler Gloves event. Councilmember Comstock was there as well, and our very own Mayor Pro Tem Burton was the MC, who does a great job every time. He has a great radio voice. Tuesday, November 25th, I attended via Zoom a meeting with Omnitrans discussing future goals with their consultant. Monday, December 1st, yesterday, along with Councilmember Lucio, we conducted 2 Planning Commission applicant interviews, and then along with Councilmember Flores, conducted 1 applicant interview. And then today, good grief, City Manager Reich and our Public Works Director Hygen Lee and I met with Executive Director Carrie Schindler from SPCTA to discuss possible funding sources for some of our projects. And then we had closed session prior to this. Mayor Pro Tem Burton.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 20th, I attended the WFA meeting. After that, I went to the Senior Center and participated in the Thanksgiving lunch with a house full of seniors, and our police department was there serving them. Chief, I really appreciated the participation from the men and women of the Chino Police Department. It was outstanding. I really, really thank you for that. I know our police department has been doing that for many years, and it's just another way of how our PD shows their dedication to every area of our community. So thank you, Chief, for that. On also that day, I attended the Chino Basin Water Master meeting. On the 21st, I attended the League of California Cities meeting with Councilmember Comstock. The 23rd, the Gobbler Gloves Boxing Showcase, which was well attended, as the mayor had mentioned. On the 24th, I attended an ARC meeting. That's the Animal Resource Center. After that, a one-on-one with the city manager. On the 25th, Councilmember Lucio and I, along with staff, traveled down to San Juan Capistrano to tour their ecology center, as well as their Riverwalk area that has a lot of retail, petting zoos, farm-like, farm-to-table fare. It was really amazing. Just at that point in time, we were looking to see if we could maybe utilize something like that and bring that up to the Stark facility just to get some ideas, and it was really, really a neat thing to go to. On the first, I had a one-on-one with the city manager. This morning, I had a meeting at the ARC, and then closed session right before the council meeting, Mayor. So thank you. That concludes my comments.
Councilmember Comstock.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 20th, as you already mentioned, I attended the legislative policy meeting with you. On the 21st, Kurt mentioned it, went to the Inland Empire Division of the League Leaders Meeting. So, Mayor, I fulfilled my 2-year commitment to the Cal Cities Board, and I was just elected as the Vice President of the Inland Empire Division. So there will be somebody serving on the Cal Cities Board to give me a break from some of that travel and those meetings. So I look forward to working with my team when we go out there this week. I'll be saying goodbye to the board, but joining the leadership of the Inland Empire Division. So I'll keep you all posted on what's happening. On the 23rd, you mentioned it, Mayor, and Kurt, you just did a great job emceeing the boxing event. Lots of good young boxers there. I mean, several of those guys walked out of the ring with bloody noses. As you know, they just give it their all, and 3 rounds of just blood, sweat, and tears. It was a great day, and as you know, all the boxers and many families who need it get to go home with a turkey for their Thanksgiving week. So that took us into Thanksgiving week. I hope all of you had a nice Thanksgiving holiday. I've mentioned it to a couple friends that know me, but my mom and dad's dinner, they did the bulk of the dinner, was absolutely phenomenal this year. So Mom and Dad, if you're watching, thank you very much. It was perfect. On the 1st, I attended my one-on-one with the city manager and staff. That takes me into today, where we attended closed session, and of course tonight's meeting we'll be reconvening back into closed session. I just also want to offer my personal sympathy tonight to the Rowe family, to Vicki and Jennifer and Brandon. Jerry's going to be missed in the halls of these meetings and many others. And you're right, Mayor. He always had ideas that he wanted to bring forward, and he wanted to be involved in making the community better and bringing up things that he thought the council should give consideration to, a different perspective. And it's important for us to have that from the community and from the public. So Jerry's perspective will be missed, and my sympathy to his family, and of course, Kurt, to the entire Lopez family. I know your wife was here earlier with some of your children, and I'll see you tomorrow at St. Margaret's for the celebration of life for Grace. That was a great picture of her too, by the way. I don't know whose wedding that was at, but it was, a really good picture of her, just perfect. Again, and just my congratulations to Royalty Cakes. And I have a question for Chris down there. Chris, do you happen to know who Jack LaLanne is?
I do not.
Okay.
Of course not.
So if you saw Mr. Sokol tonight, he reminded me, kind of reminisce of Jack LaLanne, right? His fitness and his commitment to being a gentleman. So anyhow, Chris, that's another one for you to look up. Who is Jack LaLanne, and what was his contributions to the fitness industry? But it was nice to see Sokol Gymnastics be honored here tonight, and the nice comments he had about what a great community Chino is. And we are a great community. And it's just, we're up here, we know the good work we're doing, but every now and then it's just nice to hear from the public, hey, this is a great place. So thank you, Chino, and thank you, community, and that concludes my comments, Mayor.
Well, Chris, you've learned quite a bit since you've been on this council. You now know who Cher is and Neil Diamond, and now you're going to discover Jack LaLanne.
How do I spell that, Mayor? Jack.
Yeah, Jack LaLanne. Just Google it.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, Chris, you have item number 13.
Yes, I'm asking for council approval on community support contributions of $500 to the Chino Police Officers Foundation, $500 to the Chino Valley Fire Foundation, and $500 to the Seroptimus International of the Chino Valley.
Okay, we need a motion and a second. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilmember Comstock. Please vote. And your item passes unanimously.
Thank you. And I'll keep my comments brief as well. On the 2nd of November, I attended the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce Kids Fair pitch competition. It was just a great turnout. It's just that the audience increases every year. There's more tents out there. There's more of our youth selling and doing what they do. But I would like to give a shout out to Harvey Luth and his grandson who was out there. They had a booth this year, and although I didn't see the 3D printer there, but they were selling 3D printed items, which were pretty cool. Again, just congratulations to your grandson, and wish him all the success. My thoughts and condolences to the Rowe family. 2 years ago, we invited Jerry to packing over at the for the Isaiah's Rock toy distribution, and he came out one year and very hesitant, right? Wasn't really his type to volunteer his time, at least in that regard. And I remember the first time he joked and he said, "Hey, Chris, how much are you going to pay me to be out here?" But I think in those halls and him packing, I think there was something special that went on there. I'm not sure about where Jerry fell spiritually, but I would say that, at least in my opinion, he found Jesus in those halls. So I'm thankful for that, and I wish the Rowe family all the best. But with that being said, to Royalty Cakes, I'm happy they got the Business of the Month award. Truly deserved. They do a lot of good work out there. And with that, Mayor, that concludes my comments.
Okay, Councilmember Lucio.
I'll keep mine brief. I just want to express my condolences to Vicky, Jerry's wife. Jerry was a good man. He was very vocal, not just here in the chambers, but also on social media. So I'm sure a lot of people knew him even without knowing him. He was just always involved and really was passionate about what was going on in the community. So he's truly going to be missed. And also to you, Kurt, and your family, my condolences. And she lived you really can't ask for more years than what she got. So she lived a great life, and she passed the way everybody would love to pass. So my condolences to you and your wife and to your family on the loss of your mother-in-law.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Okay, City Manager Reich.
No report tonight, Mayor.
City Attorney Galante.
No report, thank you.
I'm going to move up the director's report. I know Jen has something.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I have two updates for you. You might see some activities of our crew doing some maintenance work on asphalt parking lot at the senior center. We want to make sure we get them ready for the tree lighting service. So, but for full rehab, we are going to be proposing a facilities parking lot pavement rehab program similar to what we do for arterial streets and residential streets. And the second update is I'm very pleased to report that the shoe fly, which is a temporary road for Pine Avenue, is complete, and they're planning to transfer the traffic tomorrow evening. So those of you who will be driving on Pine Avenue, after tomorrow evening, you're going to be driving on a temporary road while they build a permanent Pine Avenue widening.
And where is that shoe fly?
Shoe fly is between, I think, Rincon Meadows and, what are the actual, Yeah, Rincon Meadows and Meadow House. I always get them confused.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you
It's
very much.
the shoe fly, Mayor, get it? Like the flies?
I know. I got it. I got it. I don't know why they call it that. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Great, we have a shoe fly now. Okay. Thank you very much, Jen. Police Chief Menson.
Real quick, Mayor. So last night, members of the Chino Police Department, led by the Chino Police Officers Association, kicked off the Kids, Cops, and Santa sleigh. So they will be out almost every night between now and Christmas Eve. And so this is the third year now that they've had the new sleigh. But it gets used so much that we actually kept the previous sleigh for nights like tonight, where the sleigh is out and about, going throughout neighborhoods, and the old sleigh was parked in front of the PD doing a Stuff the Sleigh event. So they got a very booked, very busy month of December with this. So if you want it to come to your neighborhood, call our dispatch center. They'll radio it out to the officers involved in this and see if they can't get by your neighborhood.
That is so much fun. I mean, you hear all the sirens and the lights going, and people run outside wondering
To see
what
Santa
in the
Claus.
world is going on. Well, they don't know at first.
Right.
So they run out thinking there's some big disaster, and here comes Santa. It's really cool.
Really cool.
Thank the guys.
Chief, can you just give an estimate about how many police officers participated in the senior Thanksgiving serving?
I would say from both police officers and, because we have a large contingent of professional staff that were all there, our cadets, probably 40, 45. Our SWAT team was there. A good
really
portion of, I mean, we've been doing that for,
Yeah.
gosh, I mean, as long as I can remember, since I was a
Forever.
cadet, I think.
I tell you, the seniors just love having our police officers out there getting involved and just, not just serving them, but having conversations with our seniors. It's really neat.
It's good, and I know the fire department, they have theirs coming up, so it's, we set the bar high for them when they're coming for next.
Well, they have
next
their
month.
Make a Child Smile, and that's a wonderful event as well.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. There's always competition. Chief Williams.
Mayor, well, you guys already kind of stole the thunder a little bit. So this Thursday is our feeding of the seniors. So Needless to say, our seniors in the city of Chino are taken care of both by our law and our fire services. So thanks, Kevin, for setting the bar for us. And then our Make a Child Smile is next week on Wednesday, the 10th. And so we'd welcome anybody to come out. This year is probably over 100 kids. They're all selected by the school district as maybe some families that might be underprivileged or currently struggling. And it's really just a unique time to really, for uniformed personnel and others to join these children, go shopping. I think the most touching thing is when you go in and you shop with one of these young people and they're buying gifts for their family members, their siblings, their mom and dad, not for themselves, because that's what gratitude does for you. So it's a really heartwarming event, so come out and join us if you can.
It really is, Chief, and I know, there are several entities that donate and sponsor that event where gift cards are brought in for those kids. But what I really, really think is awesome is, they only have a limited amount of money. The kids want to spend more, and how the firefighters and the other folks just reach into their own pockets and donate that extra money for those kids to be able to have an incredible holiday season. So, it's an outstanding effort from your firefighters, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you, 100%. And we couldn't do it it's not just the fire service. We have our law enforcement partners on both sides, the sheriffs, Chino PD, CIM has been coming out for the last several years. We have our partners over at Prado Camp at CAL FIRE. So we invite everybody that wants to have that experience and support these young people to come out and do it.
Well, I'll tell you, this community is so blessed. You look at what the PD does. I know the police department adopts families as well. The Chino Posse adopts families and provides toys and stuff. Individual businesses adopt families and provide Christmas trees and toys. Then you have all of the different food ministries that provide food, and it's just amazing how giving this community is. I'm always so very, very proud. We should all be proud of how this community gives back. Now, we will be recessing back into closed session, but I'd like to announce that we will be adjourning in memory of Jerry Rowe and Grace Stephanie Lopez. And then our next meeting will be held as a study session on Tuesday, December 9th at 6 p.m. in these council chambers, with our next regular meeting being held on Tuesday, December 16th at 6 p.m. Don't forget about the Christmas tree lighting ceremony this Saturday. It's always an absolutely fabulous event. With that, the council will recess back into closed session.